My name is Megan Monso, and I am a senior at Northwood High School. Before I start my speech, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who is here today. Whether you're a teacher trying to relax in your last few days of school, or another student speaker who is asked to come up here, I thank you all for being here, especially my family. Today I wanted to talk about something we can all relate to: books. In my years of being a student, I have read mostly every genre of book. When I was a kid, I didn't like reading. My parents would have to set a timer so I would read. But in kindergarten, I was introduced to the world of Mercy Watson. For those who don't know this amazing book, it's about a couple who have a pig and all of the adventures they have. Thanks to my kindergarten teacher, Miss Erickson, I was introduced to the wonders of reading and how much fun it can be. After that, I dove into graphic novels, loving art and the plots. While those are still dear to my heart, when I got closer to entering middle school, I felt forced to read more advanced books since graphic novels were under my level of reading. While that was most likely true, I felt discouraged to read anything that I didn't already know. That was until 6th grade came. My reading teacher, Mrs. Kovach, did something that I hadn't heard before. She didn't care what I read, she just wanted us to read. From there, I felt confident enough to dive into other novels and chapter books, discovering fantasies like Fablehaven and romances like Don't Go Breaking My Heart. It was also at that point that we dove into our first real novel, The Giver. This was the first true dystopian book that I read, and for me, it was heartbreaking. But while it did break my heart, it gave me hope. I didn't know a book could do that. While my 6th grade year ended in uncertainty with what 7th grade would look like thanks to the pandemic, I had teachers to help and support me. When 8th grade came, we dove into more complex books, like To Kill a Mockingbird. This was one of the first times I read a book with a complicated message. After I was finished reading, I wasn't sure what to think. This was the second time one of my teachers, Miss Weiland, did something unexpected. She told me I didn't have to know what to think. Around this time, we also dove into short stories, entering creepy worlds like that of The Lottery or The Lady or the Tiger. These also furthered the message that a book just renders us speechless sometimes, and that in itself is okay. Once I entered high school, I was introduced to more novels without a clear, happy ending, like Lord of the Flies. These books showed me the true complicated meaning of life. It was confusing to me how we could read these books and still not know what they're trying to tell us. It was then I was truly taught how to start analyzing novels, and how to write them in a way others could understand, thanks to Ms. McKay. When 10th grade came, I realized I had a long way to go with my writing ability. Not only is the reading part important, but the writing part is also just as important, to convey your ideas in a paper. In Miss Sonica's class, we dove into There, understanding just how hard it still is in our world. This has to be one of my favorite books I have ever read. I learned how to take effective notes since there was 12 different characters I had to remember, know, and be able to write about. Finally, in 11th grade, I read the play Othello. It had hard elements to read and frustrating characters, but it challenged the way I had to see literature. I had to write a paper on elements I would never write on, but I was able to understand the play much better because I had to go out of my comfort zone. Finally, one of the books I read in 11th grade was The Kite Runner. This book was hard for many reasons to read, since there was constant missteps by the main character and hard times everyone had to endure. Yet this book has to be one of my favorite books I have ever read. While it broke my heart reading how everything could go wrong, it brought back something I haven't read in a very long time: hope. Throughout the book, the main character hopes for himself and how he will make it through, and finally at the end, he learns to hope for someone else. All the lessons I learned throughout my years in school helped me to read this book. Even now, I'm sure I don't know what to think, but by writing my paper, I understood it little by little. Now to go back to the start of my speech: books. Throughout my years in school, I learned some of the most important things thanks to books. I learned how to think differently, how to have fun, how to hate and love a character at the same time, how to cope with hard times in and out of books, how to learn I might not know what to think, and how to put all of this into words. Thanks to these books, I wanted to write, and then I wanted to say what I was writing. Thanks to these books, I love discussing what I think. And finally, thanks to these books, I had some of the best teachers who constantly encouraged me to be myself, to figure myself out, and to hope. The things I learned through reading helped me to push myself, like Spanish with Mr. Howard, or try new things like AP Biology with SW. Thank you to all the teachers who I've had the privilege of being a student for. I can never express how grateful I am that you taught me how to read, how to grow, to try new things, to have fun, to keep pushing to be myself, and finally how to never stop hoping. Thank you.